Yet another Compo Studio from Assembly 2019. This time for the photo compo, the themed photo compo, and I guess we could call it a freestyle graphics competition, or maybe just the graphics competition, although
It used to be freestyle.
yeah, it's what we used to call the freestyle graphics competition. I'm here with Boss Cadet, and you're one of the organizers of these compos.
Yes, joined with H7.
And those of you that were watching earlier, you saw H7 for the other graphics competitions. So now you know the team behind it. Well, you have to come up with a theme, and you have to judge the things. And well, you don't have to judge them; the jury judges. Did you have more entries this year and did we have to do a pre-selection?
We do a little pre-selection that wasn't that much fun. Decided to not show the entries that have a significant drop in the jury score, and one of the graphics entries was not shown. But this year we didn't have that many graphics entries at all, because I think that the people who submit the entries have decided that the quality is so good that there's no point in doing the entry because there's so little chance to get on the screen.
That's too bad.
So we had about 14 or 13 entries in total of graphics entries.
Right. One thing that I miss is, I mean, they do need to submit the work stages.
Yeah.
And I would have liked to have seen the work stages. We do that in some other demo scene competitions. Just something to think of pushing for next year. If we can pull that off, that would be really beneficial.
That's possible. I think it was in 2008 or 7 when they showed the stages, but for some reason they stopped doing that. But one interesting thing is that when you watch the different stages, the quality just rises up, and it reaches a certain stage, and then it starts going a little downwards. And usually the best image is the second to last phase. But there was at least one entry when you could see that the quality is increasing all the time, and the last image is the perfect one.
That could be one of those where the person, maybe they did a little bit more and then they went back and looked, and you know what? That one is the one that I want.
Yeah, but I guess that they have spent too much time in one block, and they just lose their criticism in that time.
It's difficult when you're looking at something code-wise, or I imagine also music-wise, although I don't do that. You could probably speak to this. But design-wise, anything creative, when you've spent enough time with it, it is good to take some time away from it, but it's really difficult to do that.
Yeah. And it's interesting to see that there are some entries that have some things in the pre-stages that are actually interesting, but they're not visible in the final stage. For example, the freestyle graphics entry that had like burning Notre Dame, there was a hanging upside gargoyle visible in the first stage, but it just got away. But it was looking interesting that it would have been good to see in the final image as well.
Is this the one with the
flames and the pillars?
Flames and the pillars that looked like was it early in the competition with the hand drawn, or
it was the freestyle? It was one of the last entries.
Okay, I noted 2 of them in the early portion, and I had taken notes here. And one of them I noticed. Let's see, what was it?
It was done in Oculus Designer or something like that.
It was number 7 is the one that I'm thinking of.
Okay.
And I wrote it down that the worshippers, the contrast of them was it should have been, and I couldn't really tell that there were worshippers there. I knew they were from the name of the production. But yeah, if we could see freestyle or the graphics competition entry number 7 for a second, if they can bring it up. They may not be able to. And sadly, I could not write down the names of the tracks. I just wrote down my reactions to them. But if they aren't able to bring that up, then, well, we'll just move on. Perhaps we should actually talk about the photo compo first, because we're jumping right in
Yeah.
the other thing.
Going back and forth in time.
Yeah. I really liked the theme, and I liked what people did with the theme. The theme this year was light and shadow.
Yeah, it was quite visible in most of the entries, but there were some which were a little far-fetching of the idea, and there was one work that was mostly repro. It was still image from the live feed of the cameras that are filming eagles' nests, and it was just a photo of a monitor showing that.
Interesting.
So
Did that get...
that didn't get on the screen, but
Okay.
because it would have been better as a screenshot, but that way it wouldn't have suited in the photo competition. So it was just a photo taken off a screen showing that still.
Right. Well,
And there was one photo that was quite good, but the photographer did a risk because the image was so low key. So I'm afraid that it lost a lot of detail in the screen.
do you remember which one that was?
It was shot in a castle.
Right.
It was Wanderer of...
Probably number 3.
Yep.
Was it the one where there was a wall and there was some green? There was a green plant. Really good contrast.
No, not that one. Just a
Okay.
minute. And there's the themed photo, and it's dungeon crawl.
Dungeon crawl.
I didn't see
Yeah.
it on the big screen because we're just looking on the little TV, so I just lost the detail over there. But I just hope that it didn't get ruined by the dynamic range of the screen.
Which, again, those of you who are in the hall and voting, do download these before you vote, and take a look at them, and especially take a look at those steps that have been uploaded. And those of you who are looking at it, hey, I can't compete at this quality. Take a look at those steps to see how they got there, because it does take some work. You can't just, well, okay, with the photo compo, you get to retouch it a bit, but you don't want to do too much. I had a few things that I thought were interesting in the photo compo. I thought that, well, number 4, which was a number of marbles, I liked the idea behind it, but I had a question about whether the choice of what the marbles were resting on was good enough. It certainly did not look to me like it was picking up the way that marbles play with the light when the light comes through. It was kind of lost for me. I thought number 5, which was the bug, superimposed on the flower with the sun in the background, it had a lot of contrast.
Yes.
Maybe too much. It was good outline of the bug, but it's a question of whether it was just too much or not. I'm not sure. And then there was, well, one of them I wrote, Beanie tries to win again, and then someone tries to beat Beanie.
Yeah,
and,
there were 2 ray trace entries, or 3
yeah,
if you
yes.
count the marble thing.
Yes, and then there was one, and I think the one that might have appeared to have been a ray trace was, I just wrote down, oh my, that's good. So photo compo, I feel, was very high quality.
Yeah, and it's strange that this time we didn't have to disqualify any entries in either of the competitions.
Excellent.
Yeah, nobody broke any rules that we were aware of.
Right. And, well, you do have to check, and sadly, sometimes we do have to disqualify folks.
Yeah, sometimes they have without permission, or they have used work that has been already published, but so far we didn't pick it up.
I think there was one in the music compo, in the fast music compo, that was, but I mean, fast music, so probably can get away with that there. But yes, shall we move to the graphics compo then? Or are there any things that you want to mention about the photo
Well,
compo?
it was the first time for both me and H7 that both of us had given 10 for 3 different entries.
Interesting.
Yeah,
Interesting.
they weren't the same, but anyway, both of us say that no, either I don't know that I have ever given 3 different entries 10, but it happened.
Yeah.
And the last entry displayed a significant amount of work, and at first glimpse I thought that it was a photograph of a human being placed on top of a rendering, but it was completely 3D. But unfortunately the image looked like on the TV screen that it lost a lot of detail because the dimmest areas weren't that visible.
Right. Again, folks, do look at these pictures on your computers before you vote. There's a difference between displaying it on a big screen, and of course you want to see your work on the big screen. Big screens are awesome. But for detail and understanding how it looks, put it on your monitor and look at the detail there, and do zoom in on things. Be critical. Next, the graphics compo. I wondered if the first one was ray traced. I couldn't tell from the description. And then from there was, I wondered.
It was a ray trace.
Okay, it was.
And it didn't say that it had used any stock data or stock objects, but we didn't see any different stages of the space station.
Aha.
I just hope that it was done completely by the participant.
If it's the participant that I think it was, I'm 100. There is one participant who may have submitted something who uses that particular. He does a lot of work in the space theme, so if it's him, I'm sure he did. Yeah, I right about number 5. I was like, I would really love to see these stages.
Yeah, that was the one that had the upside down hanging gargoyle.
Yeah, okay, that's the one. Because it looked a bit like it was a fast painting.
Yeah, the earlier stages had some like clay models of the place. So I haven't used that software or even seen it in years. But I think you could just throw some pieces of some liquid-like material here and there. So that was the initial modeling of the place, and it was drawn on top of that.
I did notice that there was an awful lot of Krita being used in the competition. Many of the items used Krita, and then of course a lot of them use Photoshop. But it looks like Krita is beginning to pop up there as an actual alternative, or people are actually preferring to use that rather than using Photoshop. Which is an interesting statement on that software and the creative industry in general.
Also, there's an increasing amount of Procreate images as well.
Yeah, yeah.
So people are moving on to mobile devices.
Yep. Because we have higher quality cameras now on our phones, that is definitely a possibility, and you can take a shot somewhere and then work with it separately and use that in your demo, in your painting, or what have you.
Yeah, but you can use the tablet as a drawing device that has an integrated display and the graphics pen tablet. That's what Procreate is for.
I was thinking of, I don't know what the name of the software is that I was thinking the Procreate was.
No, that's a drawing program.
Yes.
Or illustrating program.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So you could actually, instead of using a Syntec tablet, you could
just
use
buy a cheap device that doesn't need a computer. You just use a portable tablet and use it as a display and the pen tablet.
That's obviously opened up quite a few avenues into some things here, because that means also, again, because I mean, if you're used to drawing with a pen, then drawing with a tablet is much more
Yeah, and you can do it while on the go.
Yeah.
It's a lot easier than with a laptop and a separate device.
Is this the Adobe thing?
Nope, but it reads the projects done on Photoshop,
Right. Right.
so you can continue them on the go if you studied them at home,
Right.
and that's why I like that.
I'm going to have to look into this.
Okay.
This is
Yeah, I've already caused some people to lose some money for that already.
right. Well, there's a lot you can do with that. Any of the items that you want to discuss from here? There are a few that I'm afraid that I can't really comment on. There was some lighting discrepancy that we needed to deal with here, and as a result, I was unable to see the pictures as well. So I don't want to comment on them because it would not be fair.
Yeah, but one interesting theme that was that there were a lot of works with a giant in it. There was a giant fish, and then the giant orb-headed thing that had like fly-like eyes, and the giant knight, and I think there was some other entries as well that I already forgot.
There was also for a while there, one thing I did write about this was at number 8. It was the first cartoon entry, and I thought, okay, that's a bit of a risk, doing an entry that was a cartoon. And then the 9th one was also a cartoon, very different cartoon style, but it was a drawing method that you would say was a cartoon.
Yeah.
And then number 10 was again a cartoon.
But those people do that style all the time,
Yes.
so they are already identified because of their style.
Well, yes, but not everybody in the audience knows who those folks are. Some of us have been watching and we know them for that. But again, the people that want to pick up something and say, oh, I can't do that, well, a cartoon might get you there.
Yeah, just pick your own style that's different from the others.
Or just go with the same thing and just do it your way.
Yeah.
Did you enjoy being a graphics compo organizer? I mean, you've done it a number of years.
Sure, that I think this is the 10th anniversary that I've been a graphic compo organizer, and that's why I continue doing that. So you get to see all the works and get a grasp on how the quality of the entries improves and the fluctuations of the works during different years.
I have to personally thank both you and H7 and of course, all of the compo organizers. I know how much work it is. I've seen it at multiple parties. Thank you so much for putting up with everything that you have to put up with in order to make these things happen. It means a great deal to a lot of people. So thank you very, very much. With that, I think we probably need time. We have some music combos coming up very soon. I think in maybe 10 minutes or so, maybe 12 minutes. And I might also be completely wrong about that. Do check your timetables. That's at assembly.org. In the Scene Lounge area, you can see the updated timetables if something gets delayed. And Frankie will be here for the music combos, and we will see you a bit later for combos such as Old School. Lots of stuff coming up.